Hey folks, it's Wednesday.
Hey folks, it's Monday.
It's Tuesday.
It's Wednesday.
It's Thursday.
It's Friday.
And this week is favorite college university memories so far for some of us. Not for Shane, whose best day was graduation, so that's cool. I think that the best memory so far, like that beats them all, was in mid-January before school started, because that was the night that I invited a certain boy named Quinn over for pancakes. So what happened is that it was like Friday morning, and Colton wasn't at the dorm because he was working or something, and Dean was off somewhere because his computer was broken, so he couldn't be in the dorm. And I was like watching movies on Netflix Instant. I hadn't put makeup on. I'm still in my pajamas. I had just gotten my pancake pen for Christmas, and I really wanted to use it. And so I tried texting Dean around maybe noon. I was like, hey Dean, I don't know where you are right now, but do you want to make pancakes tonight? I don't hear anything. So I text Colton and I'm like, hey, I know you're not here tonight, but I really want to make pancakes with someone, and Dean's not answering his freaking phone. And Colton's like, you should invite Quinn. And I don't expect him to say yes. I mean, he's older than me, he lives off campus, he's so cool and smart and interesting, and of course he's not gonna say yes to that. That's ridiculous. So I text him like, hey Quinn, this is kind of random, but would you like to come over and make pancakes with me tonight? I've got this pen that will make them into funny shapes. And immediately I get a text back, absolutely, what time should I come over? And I was like, oh crap. I am not prepared for this. I text Colton, I'm like, this is not a drill. He is coming over in 3 hours and I am not prepared. This is not a drill. So I am like rushing around, I'm putting makeup on, I'm trying to clean up everything. There are a couple dishes in the sink, so I clean those. I clean the living room area. I put on like 4 different outfits. So then Dean saunters in and is like, hey, I'm gonna go for a run. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Quinn is coming over in an hour. And he's like, who? What? I was like, why are you not answering your phone? Because I had tried to text him like multiple times, like, Dean, you have to stay out of the apartment from this time to this time. And he hadn't checked any of his messages. He's like, oh, I guess my phone was off. I'm like, Dean! And he's like, well, I have to go for a run. So I'll go for a quick run and I'll come back and shower and I'll be gone before you know it. And I'm like, okay. So, I'm still rushing around and trying to finish Mission Impossible 4, I think is what I was watching on Netflix. So Dean saunters back in after his run about 15 minutes before Quinn is set to come over. I'm dressed, and so I'm just kind of sitting there, like shaking. And I'm like, Dean, what are you doing? Go get in the shower. And he's like, oh, okay. So he gets in the shower, and all of a sudden I get a text message from Quinn. Hey, I'm here, you gotta let me in. And then all of a sudden I hear Dean singing show tunes really loudly in the shower. And so I run over to Dean's bathroom and I knock on the door and he's like, what? It's like, Dean, you have to stop singing. Quinn is coming up right now. And he's like, oh, okay. And, and I'm still texting Colton, oh my God, Colton, he's here, oh my God. And so I run downstairs and I let him in and we have like, a little awkward small talk because we don't really know each other that well at this point. And so I bring him upstairs. Dean is thankfully no longer singing. So finally, Dean leaves after forever and he just sort of smirks at me. Quinn and I make pancakes, we make all sorts of funny shapes, and so we eat the pancakes and clean up a little bit, and we just talked for like 3 hours, and then it was 1 in the morning, and it was probably midnight at that point. We were like, oh my gosh, how have we been talking this long? And then we talk longer. So we're sitting on the couch talking, and like, as the night progresses, I get slowly closer to him, and like, I'm just sort of testing the waters, and then all of a sudden we're sitting there and there's like this beat of silence in the conversation, and he looks at me and he's like, would it be weird if I kissed you right now? And I was like, no, and then we made out for like an hour. And then it was like 3 in the morning, and so he had to go home because it's 3 in the morning. And I have this series of texts from Colton, like waiting on my phone when I open it up again, and it's just a series of texts, and he gets more and more annoyed with me because I'm not texting him back. And at the last message he sends me is like, you better be making out with Quinn right now, otherwise there's no excuse to not text me back. And so I texted him back at 3 in the morning. I'm like, so totally made out with Quinn. And then I went to bed. And I started dating Quinn 2 days later. So yeah. That's that. And Laya, I will see you tomorrow.